Hey friends, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. Today, I want to talk to you about the 37 different countries that I counted when I went into a big box pet store and started looking at items. Now, you may know that fish come from hundreds of countries around the world. It is a very global hobby, and these creatures come from just about every country in every corner of the world. But the products, the plants, and the hardware also does as well. And with recent changes we've seen politically and with tariffs and import laws and things like this, things are changing. So in today's video, let's look at some of the most popular items at common pet stores and see where they're made and what the prices may do depending on what happens with tariffs in the near future. Today we are looking at the price of items at a big box pet store. Now I can't tell you the exact name of this pet store or the other one that's just like it, but we're gonna look at some of your favorite brands, Fluval, Zoomed, Seachem, you know, all the kind of aquarium stuff, reptile stuff, and we're gonna see the prices of hardware, tanks, chemicals, things like that. And also we're gonna check out where they're made in hopes of understanding how much the new tariffs that have just gone into place are going to be. Now, this is an ever-changing story. Speaking of rapidly changing, these tariffs have not gone into place. They are now on hold, but let's take a look at the prices as what they would be in 90 days if they do go into effect, just to understand the possible implications of this. And for now, it sounds like China, Mexico, and Canada are going to be impacted right now by these tariffs. And then there's another 10% tariff across, I think, everywhere. But this could be changing at any moment. So in the interest of just seeing what could happen, let's assume in this video that there's the 145% tariff on China, and that the operating tariffs could go as high as proposed on the chart held up by the Trump administration the other day. And we will then also put the price of what it's at right now as of today. All right, so we're looking at all sorts of brands here, different Aquarium and different Matrrial, all the Petco stuff basically. All of it that I've looked at has been made in China, from small to large. And all these kits, and that means anything you see in these kits tends to be made from China too, or at least they're claiming it as that. Yeah, China. Let me show you one more little cube for a betta, kind of a sad little cube, but let's see what we're looking at here. Made in China, meaning that with the new tariffs and things, we've got what used to be a 44 with sales tax in Seattle. That would be $50 little kit, $50 little kit. Now made in China, that will jump to $122.48. All right, you guys, so now we're looking at aqua soil. We got Biostratum and Fluval Stratum, you know, the Fluval stuff, aqua soil, coming in $54 for the big bag. Where is this stuff made? It is manufactured in Japan. That's unusual, Japan. Okay, very cool. All right, so we're talking about rocks now. You'd think you could source rocks anywhere, right? Well, China's a big country with a lot of diversity of geography. And when we look at these sandstones and things, check this out. Made in China, product of China, supplied through San Diego distribution. But a lot of these rocks are going to be coming out of China, or at least that's where they're purchased in bulk. But when you go to a brand that's not the Matrrial or the big house brands, for instance, let's go to Tariffs here, where you're getting some very nice coral. And where is this made? We see French lettering on it, we see English. So let's take a look at the fine print. Made right here, product in the USA, product of the USA. Let's take a look next at the Dragonstone right next to it, that is this Matrrial brand, or the in-house brand. And this is the nice aqua shaping stone, right? So 9 pounds of it, pretty good size, pretty good thing. Product of China. So prices may be going up. Maybe they'll source it elsewhere. Who knows? All right, plants. So we've got these terrarium plants and aquarium plants, a Matrrial. Now, if you look carefully, they are international pet supplies packaged in San Diego. However, they are globally sourced plants packaged in the US. So, will they remain the same price? Hard to say. And on that note, I just want to tell you guys that as we look through these products, as we continue to look at products like plants or food that are assembled from multiple ingredients or parts, it could be that those things are still going to be subject to tariffs from all over the world, and therefore the prices could be going up all sorts of different ways that aren't predictable. Beyond that, this whole thing, the last few months has been very unpredictable. So let's just go with what we know at the time of recording and what the White House has said thus far. All right. We're talking about bulbs, and these you may think, oh, they're probably American, they're grown in Florida, right? Well, for $7.79, you may be surprised to find out that these betta bulbs or fish bulbs, they're grown in Thailand, packaged in the US. Now, what does this mean? Are they a product of the US or a product of Thailand? Initially, they're going to still pay that tariff on the bulbs. However, they buy them in massive bulk, and I don't know exactly how that will impact things. Another facet of the hobby that we do know a little bit more about is going to be the tissue culture plants, like this Tropica 1-2 Grow series that's very popular around the US right now. This is all coming in from Canada and is going to currently have a flat rate tariff of 25%. However, some of the other brands, including the big box store brands, are mostly grown in either India, China, or somewhere like Canada or the US in rare cases. So it may vary across the board, but we know that Tropica and these plants will be an additional 25% if things continue as they are today. All right, so here we are looking at all the doodads for cleaning, siphons, nets, all the stuff that could easily be injection mold made in the US, but usually gets outsourced. China. What about the gravel vac? Big old siphon. Where is it coming from? China. $15. So, China. $25 magnets, whether we use the Matrrial brand, China. Now, I'm not going to get into any of the ethics of where any of these things are made. That's a whole other can of worms. So right here we have a $94 gravel vac, a very nice Fluval one, and if we look carefully, this one is going to be manufactured on Mars? No, by the Hagen Group. That's interesting. Made in China. Okay, made in China. All the heads and attachments, we're gonna go ahead and guess with yes, China. So China across the board. Everything from little towels to sponges to filters to aquarium scrapers. And as we move over here, if it's a Matrrial, Aquarium, I'm gonna guess that all of these bubble wands, all these kinds of things are going to be made, yes, China. All of this. The air stones, where is this made? China. Now, what if you want to buy Sarah? Where is their stuff made? Made in the EU. So, say you are trying to avoid Chinese-made stuff. If you see something that's made by Sarah, rather than a Matrrial or Aquarium, you may be able to find something made in Germany, like this one here, made in the EU. So, normally 14 bucks for a little microfilter, sponge filter, and uplift tube. Also, Sique or Siche, should be Italian, I would assume. Yes, Italy there. And there's an Australian branch as well, but made in Italy. So Sice, the tariff on Italian stuff should be right here. Now, what about Tetra air pumps? I love my Tetra air pumps, and they've held up really well for me. So let's see, where are these made? Oh, China. Could be getting expensive if you want to stick with this. Are their biggest size also still made in China? Let's check that out, because sometimes different sizes are made different places, and I want to just be thorough. But again, made in China. So a Matrrial, I'm sure we're going to face the same thing. Made in China. So China, Germany, Italy. Alright, so now we're looking at things like Flourish XL. This is a Seachem product. A lot of people use XL, Seachem, Flourish, all these things, and they are made right here in the US. So you can worry about them turning into glutaraldehyde. Don't worry about them being made outside the US. Now, what about pruning shears and scissors? This stuff is notoriously Chinese made. And again, $14. We're going up 145%. Made in China. We may see that change. Made in China. Whereas things like super glue, cyanoacrylate could easily be made in either the US or China, but look at this, it's made in Germany. So really, they source things all over the world. Note that. Interesting. So Fluval pellets, the same as the Pleco formula here, the algae crisps are going to be from the Czech Republic. Just a different size, basically, but still a Fluval Bug Bites product. And if we go over here and look at some of the other Fluval products, we can see that this is made in Canada. So what will the new tariffs be in the Czech Republic versus Canada? And are all their smaller sizes still going to be made in Canada? It looks like most of this is Canada, and Canada. So Canada it is. Now what about the other omega-1 stuff? The other omega-1 stuff is all US made. Probably not changing then. Now what about, we know this is all German, the Sarah stuff. So what about Tetra Tropical Flakes? A lot of people like the Tetra Granules and the Tetra Flakes. Shout out to Lucas Bretz. Well, it's packaged in the US, made in Germany. So Tetra and Sarah, either Germany or the Czech Republic seems like where everything's going to come from. Same there, Germany, US, Canada, US, Canada, or Germany. Looking at Hikari brand, all manufactured in Japan, maybe subject to Japanese tariff. However, of course, they get the best deals on it. But Hikari is a Japanese brand, and therefore, it's all going to be coming out of Japan. Alright, that concludes our little roundup here, and I hope to end on a happy looking little fish, and I hope you have a happy day, despite the fact that we just talked about some stuff that may be bumming you out and your pocketbook out. Hopefully this is either over soon or American manufacturing picks up and things adjust. We always adjust, we always evolve, or we make freaky hybrids of what we have to work with, like these fish here. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time on FISHTORY.